This last weekend proved that fire season is here. We'll tell you what we know about the Phoenix vegetation fire that not only brought evacuation warnings, but brought flashbacks to the community.
Plus, Medford police now searching for suspects after a person was found dead in a parking lot of an elementary school.
And we're cranking up the heat again for us today, even trying to break a record here in Medford. On top of that, we're tracking the potential for thunderstorms today. I have more details for you coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6 o'clock on June 9th. Welcome to NewsWatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Marietta.
And I'm Brinkley Hill, and we're going to check in with Sarah right now. It was a hot weekend, hitting triple digits yesterday. And Sarah, you were saying that we might even have some record-breaking heat today.
It looks like we might have a chance to break an old record we have here in Medford. We're expected to reach a high of 103 today, and our last record we had was 98, even Mount Shasta as well. So it's definitely going to be feeling pretty warm for us today, pretty hot. Along the coast, it's a little bit of a different story, feeling much cooler even this morning, waking up with more cloud coverage and areas of fog in some spots. But here inland, clear skies this morning, feeling a bit more mild. We'll start to see those temperatures rise quickly through the day, and we're going to see more of those triple-digit temperatures if you're into our west side valleys. That's not the only place. Over east side, you can expect your highs into the 90s today, even into Northern California. But something we're keeping a close eye on is that risk for thunderstorms today. Northern California saw a few yesterday. That's where that main risk is going to be today, but it does work its way a little bit north. We could even see some of those isolated storms areas over east side and even into Jackson and Josephine counties. But I'll touch on that in just a second for us. Here's a look at our high temperatures for today. Triple digits from Medford, Grants Pass, along the coast, very comfortable into the 60s, but east side 94 for Klamath Falls and 99 into Wairika. Now, like I mentioned, as we head into the afternoon, you'll start to see some of those cumulus clouds build up, and then you could see some of those storms start to develop. Starting out into Northern California, we could see them work their way up northward. Even areas over east side could see some of that into Jackson and Josephine counties for us today as well, but mainly into southern part of the counties. Tomorrow, we will see that risk grow as well, and some of the area is under a marginal risk for those thunderstorms. So that means we could even see an isolated severe thunderstorm for us tomorrow. And as we're looking later into the week, things will start to cool down, but it's still going to be pretty warm into your Wednesday. So we'll have more details of what we can expect later into this week, and we'll take a closer look at even those storms we're expected to see tomorrow.
Today is going to be another hot one, like Sarah said, and these high temps come with increased risks of heat-related illnesses. So make sure you're drinking more water even if you're not thirsty. And when you are outside, take breaks in the shade or find some air conditioning. You should also be wearing light clothing and avoid being outside during the hottest parts of the day.
Starting on the fire watch this morning, the Phoenix fire near Houston and Rose Streets is now fully contained at around 35.3 acres. All evacuation notices for the fire have been lifted, and one crew was on scene yesterday to monitor the area to make sure there aren't any flare-ups. The fire broke out at around 5 p.m. Saturday, and it quickly grew in dry grassland, threatening up to 100 structures. More than 20 fire engines and a regional strike team were deployed to the scene, but that vegetation fire brought a lot of fear back into the community, prompting many concerns.
It's more than just rebuilding. There's a lot more that goes into it, so we always hope that we don't have to do that again.
This is now the second time in the last 2 summers that a grass fire has threatened the newly rebuilt Phoenix neighborhood. The Joe family saying they were impressed with the response from all of the neighboring fire districts. Phoenix high school students did get to walk across that stage for graduation, but the ceremony was sped up to make sure that families could get home if they needed to. This fire is still under investigation, and our news team is working to get the latest updates this morning.
All of southern Oregon is now officially in fire season, with most of the region on a moderate fire danger level. When it comes to yard work, common household tools sparking fires is more common than you think. Campfires and charcoal are banned except in designated campgrounds. Chainsaws, welders, and mowers can't be used on dry grass from 1 to 8 p.m., and off-road driving is limited unless you can carry a shovel and water. Even parking a hot engine on grass can ignite a fire.
If you're working and you're in that groove, you may not notice initially that it started a fire, especially because it may just be 1 or 2 sparks. But honestly, that's all it really takes in that dry grass in the heat of the day.
ODF says fire restrictions and regulations are added depending on the changing fire risks throughout the season. So as we head throughout the summer, make sure to be tracking those restrictions and be extra careful to prevent wildfires. The fewer human-caused fires there are, the less resources are strained. Now, Jackson County Fire District 3 responded to this grass fire Saturday. It was a quarter of an acre fire and started by someone welding a metal fence post. So while the fire was able to be put out in minutes, it really highlights the importance of being extra fire safe in this heat and being aware of all fire restrictions. And for a full list of what you can and can't do during moderate fire danger, head to our website.
Onto a traffic alert. Utility work at the Klamath Falls Winco will be starting this morning as there will be some lane closures taking place. Shasta Way between Avalon Street and Fred Meyer will occasionally be shut down to only one lane of traffic. The closures will take place at least the next 3 weeks, taking place anywhere from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. Flaggers will be in place to help control traffic, and Avalon Street and Shasta Way will continue to have heavy truck traffic, so drivers are encouraged to take alternative routes as long delays are expected.
Medford police searching for a suspect this morning in a homicide at a local elementary school. According to police, officers were called to Wilson Elementary School around 6:30 yesterday morning. A man was found dead in the parking lot. Medford police have not released the age of the victim or how he died. Detectives say they do have surveillance video of that early morning homicide. Right now, police believe there's no threat to the public or school community. Medford School District says they're assisting in this investigation as students are on summer vacation, but we'll continue to follow and update you as this investigation continues.
And new this morning, Governor Tina Kotek is expected to sign a bill that will protect residents from electricity hikes. Now, House Bill 3546, also known as the Power Act, passed the Oregon Senate with bipartisan support. The Power Act would clear the way for the Oregon Public Utility Commission to ensure data center owners pay what they owe for their growth. This means charges for grid expansion or infrastructure that are needed to power data centers are not passed on to customers. Representative Pam Marsh is the chief sponsor of this bill, and now that bill awaits for the governor's signature.
Klamath County Sheriff's deputy is on administrative leave this morning, facing a DUI charge as an investigation is underway into a false kidnapping report. Around 1:30 Friday morning, Deputy Jacob Brandt called 911 from a Pilot gas station, claiming he'd been kidnapped at gunpoint by 3 Hispanic men and was sent to get snacks. Officers from multiple agencies responded but didn't find any suspects in the area. Brandt was determined to be under the influence of alcohol and was arrested for driving under the influence. That incident is still under investigation this morning.
One man is under arrest and facing several charges in connection to a suspicious death, which later turned into a murder investigation in Phoenix earlier this week. Jackson County Sheriff's detectives arrested William Irvin Hastings on Friday morning. He was arrested during a traffic stop on Highway 62 in Medford. Last Wednesday, deputies responded to a home on the 4000 block on South Pacific Highway for a welfare check, and that's when they discovered Hastings' wife, Julie Hastings, dead, calling her death suspicious. Hastings is now in the Jackson County Jail, charged with second-degree murder and first-degree abuse of a corpse. The sheriff's office says the investigation is still ongoing.
The U.S. Justice Department is weighing in on a federal lawsuit against the state of Oregon for its handling of elections. The lawsuit, originally filed by conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch, says Oregon failed to keep its eligible voter list up to date. The lawsuit also says those records were not available for public inspection, violating the National Voter Registration Act. In a state of interest filed on Friday, the DOJ emphasized that states must maintain accurate voter lists to ensure fair and fraudulent-free elections. Oregon's Secretary of State Tobias Reed is reportedly not offering comment on the filing due to ongoing litigation.
Today at 6 o'clock, the City of Grants Pass will be hosting a public forum discussing options to ease the city's need to allow overnight resting on public property. City staff will be presenting a brief history and overview of the Homeless Solutions Competitive Grant Program. Residents can submit questions in advance or in person at the forum. And the residents will also have the opportunity to publicly comment on the grant program. Now, if you're unable to make tonight's forum, the forum will also be live streamed on the City of Grants Pass YouTube channel.
The Oregon Army National Guard soldiers are honoring the Army's 250th anniversary. In Medford, the Guard and civilians participated in an 18.6-mile Norwegian foot march carrying around 24-pound rucksacks. Now, according to officials, the century-old military endurance test brought together a total of 101 participants. They said the point was to honor a military tradition and form a bond with the community.